Imagine a house where the shadows whispered secrets no one dared to speak aloud. A little boy, no older than 8, sat in the corner of his room, clutching an old, worn-out Quran he had found in the abandoned library near his home. His parents, who had no faith in Allah, dismissed everything as superstition. Yet that night, when he softly recited Surah Al-Ikhlas, the room seemed to breathe with light, as if unseen angels surrounded him, protecting him from a darkness only he could sense. But what he didn't know, the power of this tiny chapter was about to save his soul, his life, and awaken a truth his parents had long denied. The little boy who conquered darkness with Surah Al-Ikhlas. Yusuf was not like other children. While the neighborhood kids ran and played under the golden sun, he often stayed behind, staring at the quiet corners of his home, where strange whispers seemed to echo from the walls themselves. His parents, Arif and Nadia, were atheists. Religion, they said, was an illusion created to control people. To them, God was a myth, angels were tales told to scare children, and the Quran was nothing but old stories. But Yusuf felt differently. Something inside him, a deep, unexplainable instinct, told him that there was more than this cold, empty world. It was during one of his secret trips to the local abandoned library that he stumbled upon a Quran, its pages yellowed with time, but each word pulsating with a mysterious energy that made his heart race. The moment he opened it, the smell of old paper mixed with a sense of peace he had never known. And then his small finger traced the words of Surah Al-Ikhlas. The chapter was tiny, only 4 verses, but to Yusuf, it felt like holding the entire universe in his hands. Say, He is Allah, the one and only. Allah, the eternal, absolute. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, and there is none like unto him. As he recited softly, a strange warmth filled the room. Shadows that had seemed to whisper earlier now recoiled, as if afraid of the light in Yusuf's heart. The darkness creeps in. Yusuf's house was no ordinary home. At night, the corners seemed darker, heavier, as though unseen eyes were watching. His parents laughed off his fears. "There's nothing here, Yusuf," his mother said one evening. "Just your imagination." But Yusuf knew better. The shadows whispered, sometimes moving when no one else was looking. One night, he awoke to find the air thick with a cold presence. A shadow, darker than the darkest night, hovered near his bed. His heart pounded like a drum, and his small hand shook. In that terrifying moment, he remembered the words of Surah Al-Ikhlas. He whispered them aloud, barely audible, yet filled with desperation. Kul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid, wa lam yulad, wa lam yakin lahu kufuwan ahad. Instantly, the shadow recoiled as though burned by invisible fire. Yusuf felt a surge of courage and light fill his body. He kept reciting, his voice growing steadier. The darkness shrieked, twisted, and vanished into the corner of the room. The parents began to notice. At first, Arif and Nadia were furious. "Stop that nonsense," they shouted, but they could not explain the strange phenomena themselves. Doors that had been locked slammed open on their own. Objects that had disappeared reappeared. And each time Yusuf recited Surah Al-Ikhlas, peace returned to the house. Nights became a battleground between the darkness that tried to invade and the divine protection Yusuf called upon. And the more he recited, the stronger he felt. The Quran, the words of Allah, were not just letters on a page. They were shields, swords, and light all at once. The night of horror. One stormy night, the house trembled as if a malevolent force had claimed it as its own. The wind howled, rattling windows. Shadows grew limbs, creeping closer to Yusuf's room. He clutched the Quran tightly, whispering Surah Al-Ikhlas faster than he had ever done. Suddenly, he heard a whisper, a voice that chilled him to his bones. "Why do you call upon him, child? He is not real. You have no one to protect you." Yusuf's small voice trembled, but he did not stop. Kul huwa Allahu ahad. With each repetition, the voice faltered, weakened, and finally disappeared. The shadows fled, leaving a calm so profound that Yusuf felt tears streaming down his cheeks. That night, he realized something life-changing. Even the tiniest servant of Allah, armed with faith and his words, could withstand any evil. Transformation begins. As days passed, Yusuf began noticing miracles in his life. A small accident that could have harmed him never happened. Lost objects returned when he sought Allah's help. Even his parents, who remained skeptical, started noticing the changes. One evening, Nadia found herself watching Yusuf pray, his lips moving softly, the recitation of Surah Al-Ikhlas echoing like a melody in her heart. She felt an unfamiliar warmth and peace, a tiny seed of faith planted unknowingly. Arif, ever the rationalist, experienced something he could not explain. In the middle of a sleepless night, he heard the words of Surah Al-Ikhlas carried by the wind, as if whispered by angels themselves. Say, He is Allah, the one and only. He woke trembling, questioning everything he had believed. Could it be real? The secret power of Surah Al-Ikhlas. Yusuf learned that Surah Al-Ikhlas was more than just words. Scholars later taught him that reciting it once equals the reward of reciting 1/3 of the Quran. It protects from evil, purifies the heart, and brings closeness to Allah. For Yusuf, this was no abstract teaching, it was reality. The surah became his shield against darkness, his companion in loneliness, and his key to a light-filled future. One evening, the family faced their greatest terror yet. A powerful dark entity, unseen but felt, tried to dominate their home. The air grew icy, whispers filled the walls, and fear gripped every corner. Yusuf, standing tall despite his age, opened the Quran and recited Surah Al-Ikhlas with all his heart. The entity screamed and fled, leaving the house bathed in a divine light. Arif and Nadia, witnessing this miracle, could no longer deny the existence of Allah. For the first time, tears streamed down their eyes, not of fear, but of understanding, of awakening. The emotional climax. Yusuf's courage and faith transformed the family. The atheist parents, who once mocked Allah, now embraced him. They began to learn about the Prophet, PBUH, the Quran, and the power of sincere belief. And Yusuf, the little boy who had once been afraid of shadows, became a symbol of faith, hope, and courage. His story spread across the neighborhood. Children whispered it in awe. Parents marveled at the miracle of faith, and scholars noted how even the smallest recitation of Surah Al-Ikhlas could illuminate hearts and protect against unseen evils. If you feel your heart touched by Yusuf's story, imagine the power Surah Al-Ikhlas could have in your life. Just reciting these 4 blessed verses can protect you, bring peace to your home, and connect you with Allah in ways you never imagined. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dean in Minute for more heart-touching stories that will strengthen your faith and illuminate your soul. And remember, even the smallest voice, armed with Allah's words, can conquer the greatest darkness.